Muzika je univerzalni jezik, pa je tako jedan Britanac koji ne priča srpski, a zaljubio se u našu prestonicu. Rešio da otvori prodavnicu ploča u Balkanskoj ulici. Idemo da ga posjetimo.
Hi. Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you? Very good.
When did you make that decision to move from London to Serbia to Belgrade?
Probably three and a half years ago. And then it took a year of planning and stuff to actually finally move out here. But I'm very glad I did.
How did you decide to move to Serbia? Did you came here as a tourist first, or what was the thing that made you decide this is the place I want to be?
Yeah, so I came as a tourist effectively. I do this podcast where we talk about record shops and we visit different countries and review their shops. And we came to Belgrade to have a look around the record shops. And the thing that struck me was, it was great, the people were friendly. I did notice there wasn't anywhere to buy dance music and a lot of electronic music. And it kind of planted this little seed. And I did something we don't normally do, which is come back to a city to visit again, and then took the decision to move here.
What did you know about Serbia before moving here? What was your first impression when you got here, and what did you know about it before?
Well, I can tell you what I knew before. Absolutely nothing. And one of the reasons we came here was during the pandemic, there wasn't really many countries you could visit. And I remember constantly checking the map to see if anywhere turned green effectively for entry. And suddenly Serbia did, and I thought, right, let's go. For the most part, the differences aren't that huge. I mean, the Serbian and English sense of humour are almost identical. I know Only Fools and Horses is incredibly popular here. That definitely threw me. I was like, how, what?
Very similar dark sense of humor, very
yes,
like dry, sarcastic.
Very, and a lot of gallows humour, and that whole kind of rooting for the underdog in a way, and that little, little bit working in that grey area, and you're kind of championing in those guys. Yeah, I thought that was, it really did kind of surprise me.
What was your life like in London before you moved here? What did you do? What was your job?
So most of my career I spent in either pharmaceuticals or sales and marketing. Very boring. I worked in an office for the best part of 30 years. I think it was during the pandemic again that we were all working from home, and I decided I am never going back to the office. And I think that, alongside coming here, it was kind of all these happy coincidences. And when we first came here, I've never mentioned it, we met some amazing people on our first visit. We became friends, and that's why we ended up coming back.
Petre, koliko dugo već radiš u Polovoj prodavnici?
Evo u septembru će biti 2 godine, otprilike kako otvorio, tako smo počeli zajedno da radimo.
A kako ste se upoznali?
To je zanimljivo pitanje. Upoznali smo se na slavi. Pol je hteo da vidi kako izgleda srpska slava i pošto je moj ujak prijatelj i poslovni prijatelj sa Polom, odlučio da ga pozove bukvalno to leto kada je otvarao radnju. I pošto slabo ko je u porodici znao engleski, on i ja smo se tu manje više zezali ceo dan i pozvao me, razmišljao o tome kao ceo dan otprilike i rekao mi je kao voleo bih da radiš kod mene u radnji sad kad je budem otvorio i ja sam rekao zašto da ne.
Kakvi su Englezi kao gazde? Jel su strogi ili su opušteni?
Zapravo su jako dobri. Nisu toliko strogi, zna se granica, zna se dokle sme da se ide sa nekim stvarima, ali vrlo korektni i vrlo druželjubivi. Nema tog odnosa kao šef, radnik, nema te neke napetosti, sve može da se sredi, sve možemo da se dogovorimo unapred. On je vrlo korektan po tom pitanju, još pošto ja i studiram, dosta je otvoren prema tome, što ja mislim da dosta, na primjer, mojih drugara koji isto studiraju i hoće da rade imaju probleme jer ne mogu da se dogovore sa svojim gazdama.
When I had a real job, I had a side hustle of selling records. And a lot of it was dance music, a lot of those records went to Europe, to Germany. Brexit happened and sales just completely collapsed, maybe 70% or more. And I had 10,000 records myself, that did help. and coupled with the fact that there was a lot of music that wasn't easily available. You can order stuff online. You know, most of my DJ customers still order stuff online, but for them, it was great to be able to come in here and just take something home from them from within Belgrade, which hasn't, I think the last dance music shop here was 15 years, I think someone told me. That's a long time. I used to do some DJing back in the late 80s at the start of rave culture. I was really fortunate to be there at the birth of dance music, if you like. We partied a lot, and then I just carried on collecting records that whole time. It was it was a really great time. But I hear equally it was a lot of fun here as well during that time. People just thought it was weird, and most of the time it was like, Serbia, isn't it really cold there? It's like, no, that's Siberia.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Serbia doesn't have the greatest press back in the UK, and we've done a lot to try and counter that since we've been here, and certainly on all of our visits, it was like, it's nothing like you think. You know, the Serbian people are amazing.
When it comes to Serbian music, are you familiar with genres of Serbian music? I mean, usually like we have also pop, rock, same as much other places, but also there is like turbo folk or like that kind of music that is very specific for this region and Balkans. How about that? Are you familiar with that? Do you like those kind of sounds or not?
Some of it. I like a lot of the early Serbian synth pop, bands like Beograd, Max Vincent, I adore, who's from Belgrade. And then you get into stuff like folk music. We sell a little bit of it. I don't claim to be an expert in it, but I have listened to it. And I've started collecting a lot of XU music myself, probably like that much.
And did you have any famous customers? Did any like musicians came here to buy something?
Who do we have famous customers? Well, Marko Nastic is in here all the time. And I don't know his name. The guy who does the Serbian TV show, The Chase. He's the chaser.
Oh yeah.
Really, really big guy.
Do people like spending their money on music, buying records like that? Is it possible to live from a record store?
Just about. You don't move here to get rich, but quality of life is vastly better. In terms of prices for the shop, we have a lot of records that are 500 dinars. And a lot of young people come in and they seem really happy about that.
So what would be your advice for people who want to make a big change in life and just move somewhere?
Yeah, I think if I hadn't have done, I said to Catherine, my partner, if we don't do this now, we'll probably die here. So why don't we go and have an adventure? And even though I was 52 when I decided to make this move, it's the best thing I've ever done. So just go for it, really, just do it.